unmuted.
This meeting of the City of Socorro Planning and Zoning Commission is set to begin. Due to ongoing threat to public health, the City of Socorro, Texas Council and Commissions will be conducting a virtual meeting broadcasted by phone and live streaming services from council chambers located at 860 North Rio Vista Road, Socorro, Texas 79927. To practice social distancing and limit the number of people physically present at one time. There will be no physical access to the location mentioned above. We do ask everyone to silence their electronics to avoid any sound interruptions. No disruptive behavior or outbursts will be tolerated, and violators are subject to call disconnection and possible prosecution. Anyone who has signed up to speak or present will be called upon by the presiding officer to speak during public comment or on their specific agenda item in accordance with Government Code 551.042. La reunión de la Comisión de Planificación y Zonificación de la Ciudad de Socorro está por empezar. Por el problema de salud pública en curso, el Concilio y las comisiones de la Ciudad de Socorro, Texas, transmitirá su reunión por teléfono y servicios de transmisión en vivo desde la sala del Concilio, localizada en 860 North Rio Vista Road, Socorro, Texas 79927, para practicar el distanciamiento social y limitar el número de personas físicamente presentes. No habrá acceso físico a la ubicación mencionada anteriormente. Les pedimos a todos que silencien su equipo electrónico para evitar interrupciones de sonido. No se va a tolerar ningún tipo de comportamiento perjudicial o revoltoso. Quien no siga estas reglas, su llamada será desconectada y puede ser infraccionado. A quien se haya apuntado para hablar o presentar será anunciado por el oficial conduciendo la reunión. Para hablar durante los comentarios públicos o sobre su tema específico de la agenda de acuerdo con el Código de Gobierno 551.042.
This is the Socorro Planning and Zoning Commission, May 18th, 2021, 5:37 p.m. We call this meeting to order.
Good afternoon. Item number 2, establishment of quorum. Andrew Arroyos,
Here.
Enrique Cisneros,
Here.
Ernest Gomez,
Yes, here.
David Estrada,
Here.
Arturo Lafuente,
Here.
Julie Dominguez.
Here.
We have quorum with 6 commissioners present. Item number 3, notice to the public, open forum. Diana, do we have anyone that would like to speak today?
There are no speakers.
Item number 4, consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a motion made by Mr. Arroyos to approve, seconded by Mr. Estrada. Motion carried. I'm sorry. Now I would like to take your votes. Andrew Arroyos,
Yes, ma'am.
Enrique Cisneros,
Yes, ma'am.
Ernest Gomez,
Yes.
David Estrada,
Yes.
Arturo Lafuente,
Yes.
Julie Dominguez. Motion carried. Item number 5, public hearing for the proposed rezoning of tract 16D1, block 10, Socorro Grant, located at 1141 Alameda Avenue, from M2 heavy industrial to C2 general commercial.
We open public hearing at 5:38. Nobody signed up to speak,
No, sir.
so we close public hearing at 5:39.
Item number 6, consider and take action on the proposed rezoning of tract 16D1, block 10, Socorro Grant, located at 1141 Alameda Avenue, from M2 heavy industrial to C2 general commercial.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is an application to change the zoning on the property located at 11401 Alameda. This
Mr. Terrazas, I think your microphone is off.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay, so this is an application. Sorry, this is an application to change the zoning on the property at 11401 Alameda. They're asking to change it from M2 to C2. I'm gonna put it on the screen here real quick. This property is at 11401. Historically, this property was used as a junkyard. Now they're cleaning it up and they wanna fix it to put a commercial venture on it. This property is about 1.09 acres. That's about 47,480 square feet. It's owned by Jose Luis de Pesano. And it's right at the intersection of Passmore and Alameda.
What kind of business is it?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
What kind of business?
They are trying to establish a car lot to sell vehicles.
Okay.
This property is located in flood zone X according to the FEMA panel 4802120250. According to the future land use map, this property is designated for commercial use. The proposed use of the property is commercial, and currently it's vacant. The zoning on the property on the surrounding lots is M2 on the north. On the south, there's an R3. On the east, there's special use. This is the property that belongs to the Socorro Independent School District. And on the west, there's R1 across the Franklin Canal. The Planning and Zoning Department recommends approval. I don't know if you have any questions.
There was nobody out here to speak against it. Mr. Terrazas?
Is there anybody on the line who would like to speak?
The applicant is on the line, if anything.
Will this business
Hello?
generate tax money for the city?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. It sounds a little.
Your microphone is off, Mr. Terrazas.
I couldn't hear the question. I'm sorry.
Will this business generate tax for the city?
Yes, because the land use is gonna be changing to commercial. Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions.
This was a previous junkyard, is that what you said it was?
It used to be a junkyard, but they took it out and now they're cleaning the property. So they want to clean it up.
Okay, if we were to go and approve it, it will be completely clean of all the junk that they had there before?
Yes, sir, that is correct. They're gonna clean the property up and fix it to establish a car lot.
It looked like, according to your map, it looked like there's a house or two there?
It's actually a little building, but we're not sure if it's being used for, if it's gonna be used for their main office. And then there's also a shade structure.
Okay.
What's the frontage on Alameda?
The width, we don't have those measurements right now at the moment. We're having some technical difficulties, I'm sorry.
It's probably around 50 feet, no, más o menos.
Let me see if I can try to measure it approximately, but I'm having, no, I'm having some technical problems here.
How wide is Passmore? Is Passmore 50 foot?
Yes, it's actually 60 feet and it varies. At certain points, it gets wider and then it narrows down, but on the average, it's about 60 feet.
So can you put it back up?
Yes, I just restarted my program to see if it'll work.
So it looks real similar. I think Mr. Arroyos is close, 50, 60 foot wide. Do you foresee any problems with that? It's pretty narrow for commercial. Egress, ingress onto the property off Alameda.
No, we don't foresee any problems because a car lot is not a kind of business that generates a high volume of traffic. So according to the measurements that I'm looking at right now, it looks like it has like 40 feet más o menos of the frontage on Alameda. The width of the bridge is about 35 feet.
And Mr. Terrazas, I travel that road every day, and I think they're using it as a car lot right now. And the 2.5 years that I've been on the board, I think that the city of Socorro has been moving or wishing to move away from salvage yards
Yes.
to change the appearance of the city. I mean, I think I drive by there every day, and I mean, they've got a couple of cars out in the front. I can tell you that I think that I'm in favor of it, so.
Yes, that is something that City Council has made it clear. They would like to see more commercial land along Alameda so they can start starting to clean up some of the businesses that are creating eyesores or are not hygienic. So by giving them a commercial zoning classification to this property, that's perfectly according to the master plan.
And Mr. Terrazas, once they lose or once they give up that M2 designation, it's my understanding that the city of Socorro is no longer approving new M2 designations. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Once they're granted the commercial zone, they can no longer go back to industrial. It's gone forever. The applicant was made aware of it, and they agree because they don't have no intentions of putting up a junkyard in the future.
I'd like to express my support, and if nobody else has any questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve as per Planning and Zoning's recommendation.
I second.
I have a motion made by Mr. Cisneros to approve, seconded by Mr. Arroyos. Now I'd like to take your votes. Andrew Arroyos,
Yes, ma'am.
Enrique Cisneros,
Yes, ma'am.
Ernest Gomez,
Yes.
David Estrada,
Yes.
Arturo Lafuente,
Yes.
Julie Dominguez.
Yes.
Motion carried. Item number 7, Planning and Zoning Commissioners Report.
Has there been any word on us going back in person yet, Mr. Terrazas?
I did speak to the city manager, and it looks like we're still not open to the public, but when we get to that point, they're gonna inform us to see when we're gonna be allowing people in the council chambers to have the meetings. But at the moment, we're still not open to the public.
Okay.
Can we on that point, as a board, can we have an informal yes or no vote on how many of us would be interested in going back to meeting in person?
Yes, they also mentioned that we do have room here to maintain social distancing. We have room for at least two commissioners. So I don't know if there's at least a couple who would be interested, and then we could take it to the city manager and see if this is something that we can allow.
So you're saying that only 2 commissioners would be allowed at a time?
Yes, and that's because of the technology that we have set up here. We have room for a couple.
I didn't understand that. So as far as the technology, what do you mean? Because we've all fit there before. What technology are you talking about?
Yeah, we have computers set up, we have microphones, so we gotta run the network cables. So all the infrastructure that we have here only allows for 2 commissioners to be here at a time.
Okay. I'm curious to know how many of us on the board are willing to go. Let's say we're all allowed in there. Let's say we have the room. Is everybody on board to go back?
Can we take a vote on that?
Just an informal yes, no? I'm just curious if there's anybody who does not want to go back. I think they should, let us know. But I think on our end,
Yeah, I like the Zoom meetings. So I'd be okay with still being on Zoom, but again, once we're asked to go back, I'd go back, but I find it very convenient for me.
and I agree with you. I agree with you, but I just want to know if everybody's okay as far as the social distancing. Are we all good? Is there anybody who's opposed
Opposed to what? To the
to
meeting?
going back to in-person meetings in chambers?
I'm in favor of going back in.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and talk to the city manager again, and I'll let him know that this is what you reported in the meeting today, and see if we can coordinate something, and then we'll communicate with you.
If it helps, guys, that's, the governor today, he changed the rules. Maybe you guys heard about it already on masks in government buildings, which will include Socorro. I think in about 3 days, I think the 21st is the first deadline is, people are not required to wear masks. I suspect that the governor, he's going to change the rules at some point, because last year they allowed all these meetings, public meetings by Zoom, by virtual services. You'll see that in the notices of these Planning and Zoning Commission meetings. It's on the first page. He might take back that rule that allows meeting by virtual services. If the governor rescinds that, we might be forced, on day one really to go back to in-person meetings anyway. But the city of Socorro is also going to look at that too and make a decision, and probably city council will then decide what to do about masks, what to do about in-person meetings, and then commission meetings, because there's other commissions and other committees that need to meet. But I understand, personally, whether or not you guys want to attend or not is also a personal thing too. So.
Okay, I'm good.
I have nothing else.
Item number 8, Planning and Zoning Department report.
The only thing we have to report is that we now have a new commissioner, Julie Dominguez. Welcome to the board.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Welcome.
So that's all we have to report today.
Welcome, Julie.
Item number 9, excuse absent commission members. We don't have any commissioners to excuse today, so we move to item number 10. Item number 10, consider and take action on the adjournment of this meeting. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a
I
second? I have a motion made by Mr. Arroyo, seconded by Ms. Julie Dominguez. Now I'd like to take your votes. Andrew Arroyos,
Yes, ma'am.
Enrique Cisneros,
Yes, ma'am.
Ernest Gomez,
Yes.
David Estrada,
Yes.
Arturo Lafuente,
Yes.
Julie Dominguez.
Yes, ma'am.
Motion carried. Meeting is adjourned at 5:54. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you.
Thank
Aye.
you.
Bye.